This is the NZXT H1. It's a small form factor case that kind of reminds you of an Xbox Series X. I've been using this for my personal gaming PC for about 2 years now. And during that time, I've experienced GPU airflow issues, component failures, and dealt with the riser cable grounding scare. Not to mention the extremely high purchase cost of $350. Last week, I was playing some Fortnite with the boys, and I noticed my CPU temp was climbing to over 80 degrees. I think my liquid cooler failed again. When I initially made my review, I recommended the H1, but after my disappointing time with this case, now I'm not so sure. What I want to do today is swap the cooler, which luckily I have a spare. My goal today is to make sure everything works and get my build back up and running. I'm interested to see what's going on inside the cooler. So I'm going to take this thing apart and get to the bottom of this. I have to start by removing the cooler from the case. The H1 is very easy to work on, as I showed in my review. You simply pull to get the front and rear panels off. They're held on by quick snap tabs. Then the last panel is a U-shaped cover that slides up on a rail system. The dust filters are magnetized onto this panel too. Now it might be a good time to clean them. Removing the AIO is pretty straightforward. First, we take out 2 screws that hold the radiator door in place. They're identified by arrows on the door. This door can then swing down to allow access to the CPU block. You remove the 4 spring-loaded retention screws from the block, then remove 4 more screws holding the radiator to the door. Don't forget to cut the zip ties that hold the cables for the pump and fan headers to the case. The whole thing can then be removed. You just reverse this process for installation of the new cooler. Unfortunately, I don't think any other type of liquid cooler will fit in this case. It's designed specifically for this liquid cooler only. You might be able to use an air cooler, but I'm willing to bet it'll provide poor cooling with the limited airflow that the H1 offers. As you can see, swapping the cooler out is pretty easy and straightforward. The temperatures after swapping the AIO are excellent. These are my results before and after swapping the cooler. I did the exact same 4 tests. I ran Cinebench, the multi-core threaded score. I did a single thread test with the Cinebench as well, Cinebench R23 by the way. And then I did Blender and I ran Unigen Heaven, and look at the results. I swapped over to the new cooler I had from NZXT and the performance is night and day. The results are clear. There was some kind of failure with the cooler. I think every gamer should be using a program like MSI Afterburner. It's totally free and you don't need an MSI product to use it. It also comes with Riva Tuner statistics software, which allows you to monitor important system stats while gaming. You might have seen the overlay before if you follow my videos. I've got a full tutorial on how to download and set it up. I'll leave it in the description below if you want to pick it up for yourself. When the cooler worked, my CPU temperatures looked great and I'm happy with the setup. Unfortunately, this should not be happening, and it actually happened to me twice in 1 year. At this point, I don't even care if NZXT is willing to replace the AIO. I'm taking this thing apart to find out what happened. If you're getting value from this video, consider subscribing and give it a like to let YouTube know we're making good content over here. AIOs are pretty simple in their operation. A pump usually located in the CPU block pushes liquid across a plate made of copper. This transfers heat from the CPU into the liquid. It's then carried down a tube that connects to a radiator where it flows through these tiny channels. There's a fan attached to the side of the radiator which cools the liquid. Then it flows back to another tube into the CPU block. And then the process starts all over again. NZXT tried something new with the AIO in the H1 and put the cooler's pump head inside the radiator. I'm not positive, but I think this is part of the problem with the cooler and why it's failed for me twice. I had the same issue occur with my friend Jeff's PC a few weeks ago, and after fixing his computer, I took that cooler apart to look at it. His AIO was the same pump-in radiator design that NZXT has here. Coincidence? I think not. I really have no idea what this is going to look like underneath. I kind of hope it looks like the other CPU cooler that I took apart recently for my friend's build. There it goes. Haha. Yep. Just what I thought. That cooler is completely clogged up. It's not supposed to be like that. You're supposed to have the fluid flow through, and it has it here too. I don't even know if I need to take this apart because I already found the issue. It's got this gooped sediment in here, You shouldn't have to do this with an AIO. It honestly should just stay good. NZXT's warranty is 3 years. I got 1 year out of it. As you can see from taking this thing apart, it is indeed clogged. It's not what I thought it would be. I thought it was gonna be a problem in the radiator itself. It was, however, in the CPU cooling block. That thing is so gooped up with some kind of substance, but it is a problem. I've identified this in my other cooler that I tore apart from Jeff's computer and this NZXT one. So NZXT, if you're watching this, I'll send this thing back to you and you can do some troubleshooting of your own on it. But I put the other one that I got into my system for now. After the second time swapping this cooler within a year, I decided I'm gonna move on from the H1 and transfer my gaming PC into a different case. Let's take a look at some of the options that I have. The first option I have is the Fractal Design Ridge. It comes in at $129.99 USD. Now the benefit of this is I already have this case because I did a complete review on it, and if you want to see that review, check it out, it's right up here. After this video, of course. I did a complete review, so I already have the case. It saves me from having to buy one. Now I will need a CPU cooler and an SFX power supply since the H1 already has those things pre-installed. The one thing I definitely need to do is maintain that small footprint from a small form factor PC. I'm limited on space on my desk, which I'm sure some of you can relate. My second option is the Lian Li A4-H20. It also comes in at $129.99. Only the silver option is that price. If you want the A4 in a black case, it'll cost $154.99. I'm not super picky on the color, but I like how black cases can match pretty much anything. The A4 is a collaboration between Dan's case and Lian Li. That's why it looks like a Dan's case if you've ever seen them before. It is a very small footprint, which I absolutely love, and it has great airflow because the sides and the top and everything are all ventilated. So that's an option as well. The Cooler Master NR200 is another potential. It comes in at $114.99, and right now there's a $25 rebate. $90 isn't a bad deal. This product got great reviews when it came out. I've seen a lot of videos on it. I've watched a lot myself from different various tech tubers, and they said that it was a awesome buy. The only side note is it is slightly bigger than other options, so once again, footprint is something to consider. This leads me into my last choice, the Phanteks Core P1. It comes in at $119.99. This would be my most space-saving option because if I pick this case up, I'm going to be wall mounting it, kind of like Bitwit Kyle did over on his channel. I can leave a link down below if you want to see what I'm talking about to the video that he did on this build. If I was gonna mount it like that, I would save myself all the desk space because it wouldn't be sitting on my desk at that point. And it kind of gives that beauty look that I can kind of look up and see the computer. It still gives me that aesthetic that I would want. I know it sounds like that is the one that I want to go with, but I really don't know. I'm kind of up in the air at this point. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments what you would choose if you're taking it out of this H1 and putting your small form factor PC into something else. I guess I should explain my two-part problem that I've had with this since I've changed this cooler out twice now. Let's talk customer support. NZXT's customer support is mediocre at best. I've had to deal with their customer support on 5 separate occasions now. My first experience was when I ordered a pre-built BLD from them and they sent a different monitor than what I was promised. I ordered a quantum dot version of a 1440p MSI monitor, which their website stated the part number for the QD version. However, that's not the monitor that showed up. I know it's a minimal problem to have, but when I order something and a different product shows up, to me, that's a problem. What if I ordered the Creator PC and they sent me a starter PC? That's like $1,000 difference. After quite a few back and forth emails between customer support and myself and waiting about 2 months, I got the difference between the 2 monitors refunded to me and I just kept the one they sent. Since then, I've had 4 more customer support interactions with NZXT, and all of them have been about the H1. Once was for the nylon fix kit they came up with to deal with the riser cable issue. Then again, when the full riser replacement finally went through. If you don't know about the riser mess, I'll leave a video down below in the description where Gamers Nexus covered the entire thing. They did much more thorough reviews and talks and everything of what was going on than what I did, so I'll just refer to the experts on that one. My next interaction was last year at this time with NZXT when I experienced the first pump failure. And now I'm having the same thing happen a year later. I kind of lucked out with my problem last year because I sent the case into NZXT because they didn't specify for me to just send the cooler. So I sent the case in and they only sent me a cooler back. Well, when I emailed them again saying, hey, you sent me a cooler with no case, they sent me a case with a cooler already installed. So I ended up with 2 brand new coolers. I guess I lucked out. And I kind of had a feeling this problem may pop up again. So I held on to the new cooler, and now I'm glad I did. Let me just say, this whole process involved months of waiting and even longer downtime for my system. If you decide to buy an NZXT H1, this could be something that happens to you too. After all this, I retract my recommendation for the NZXT H1. It was already a hard sell at $350, even though it gives you a case, a power supply, a riser cable, and a liquid cooler. In fact, between the failed components and subpar customer service, I'm not sure what I'll be recommending from them. Now, they did release a version 2 of this case to accommodate larger, more powerful GPUs, but I believe it's using the same AIO from the original version. If that's true, the other updates don't even matter because the entire case is unusable if the cooler stops working. Now, I'm not saying that NZXT's other products, like their Kraken coolers or maybe their H9 case they just came out with, aren't good, because I simply don't know. But I'm going to take a break on NZXT's products for a while because I've got more important PC parts to take a look at. And as I always say, I'm Danny with Danny's Tech Channel, and I'll see you in the next video.
In the dark against it all, but made it through the day, 'cause I found my way. I found my way. In bad times, I know